Hi there. I'm Jade, and I guess you're here for the Empire City story arc, which is 50 episodes long. Why did they give me the longest story arc? Luna would be a lot better at this. I'm gonna forget something. Or mess up. Or just be me.
You can do it, Jade. We believe in you.
I'm not so sure about that.
Tell you what, if you get stuck or need a hand, just tag one of us in. We'll help.
Thanks, guys. This is kinda nerve-wracking.
You got this, Jade.
Yeah. Okay, let's go. We began our journey on Route 4 where we resupplied and picked up side quests and tips in the area. Evidently, this route was nicknamed the Moonwalk because of its overabundance in fairy-type Pokemon. Just before we were about to leave, we encountered some samurai from a region called Ransei. Oh, yeah, Ransei! This country is so cool. It's a region that's populated by samurais and mystics. I think Lavi took a class on it while we were at the Pokemon Academy in the last story arc.
Oh yeah, he did. Where is he?
Oh, I sent him off to get ready for Wild Colony.
Wait, you left him alone?
Not exactly.
Okay, so how do I pronounce your team's name again? Peas and poopers?
Haha! Good try, Lavi. No, it's Peasant Poppers.
What kind of name is that?
Oh boy, do I have a story for you.
If I recall correctly, Ransei was a country that never developed Pokeball technology and have been in civil war for the last several hundred years. In fact, UTOPUS was founded as a colony of Ransei a few hundred years ago. Even though they have broken away from the former empire, recently attempts have been made to reconnect with our former home.
You sure seem to know a lot about this.
I'm from Tyrant Town. I should know a little bit about my country's history.
Oh, that's right, you are. Lavi's from Wild Colony too, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. How is it we keep forgetting that?
Screw this. Go write your own friggin' campaign.
Well, whatever. We talked to these samurai and we learned about what they were doing. Apparently, one of their companions recently died, a warrior named Akamoto. His final wish was to visit the capital city and meet the shogun in charge. Even though these samurai couldn't make the journey themselves, Akamoto's Pokemon partner could. We were told if we ran across that partner on our journey, we should wish him luck. We said our goodbyes and headed south along the route.
We stopped at a ranger station where I talked to the officer in charge. Evidently, some time ago, the bridge connecting the trade route from Aristocrat Harbor to Empire City had collapsed, and unfortunately both cities lacked the funds to repair it. Talking amongst ourselves, we discovered that we had enough money to pay for the bridge's repair. We donated our remaining monthly budget before heading off onto one of the alternative routes.
Before we left for the night, Lavi encountered a really cool Riolu who was wearing a samurai helmet. Apparently, this was the partner of the deceased Akamoto who couldn't progress into Empire City because of the dangers of the moonwalk and the bridge collapse. Lavi challenged it to a duel and got hilariously demolished. After the fight, Lavi offered the blue boy an escort to town.
There were two paths on Route 4 we could take. The forest path known as the Moonwalk, or the underground Lunar Caves. We elected to go north along the forest route because it sounded more pleasant, but it was still pretty dangerous. There were angry fairy-type Pokemon everywhere. They attacked us almost non-stop. It was horrible.
We stopped for the night near a lake and discovered that the water was horribly polluted with various chemicals. And judging by the smokestacks from the factories we could see from Empire City, it wasn't too hard to pinpoint the origin either.
In all fairness, it looked like someone did attempt to clean up their mess a bit. We found some cleaning supplies that were old and had a very distinct logo on them.
Typical big business. They try to clean up their own filth, but leave behind more garbage.
I don't think it's that simple.
Look, it isn't hard to clean up their own mess.
Well, I mean, people don't just build factories for no reason. It actually does something.
Yeah, to make a few people wealthy and to ruin nature.
Any significantly powerful Pokemon can and do frequently ruin entire ecosystems. We aren't all that different.
What are you talking about? I may not be smart when it comes to computers and certain technology, but combining old Ransei tech with coal seems a bit off to me. You don't need any fancy.
I think I'll take it from here. We packed up for the night and eventually found a small group of Carbink. They asked us to help their princess. I channeled with the Carbink and we discovered that down in the Lunar Caves was a Diancie, a legendary Pokemon. We agreed to help and the Carbink left to meet us in the Lunar Caves. But as we left the forest, we discovered something I won't forget for some time. In the deepest part of the forest lied an ancient dead tree. Just from entering this area, we could tell it was once sacred, but all that was left was dead flora obliterated by fire. The whole area smelled of burnt onions. As we entered and began to learn more about the area, we encountered a mysterious old woman. She seemed as ancient as the tree and had some knowledge about what happened. According to her, this location was meant to serve as an elevator to the pillars of creation for an ancient and powerful Pokemon. However, around 30 years ago, the fairy-type Pokemon of the forest attacked the humans at Empire City, starting a short but extremely violent conflict. The fighting ended shortly after this tree was destroyed, but it's clear that this left a permanent scar on both the humans and the fairy-type Pokemon in the area. Unsure of what to do with this information, we began to leave the forest, but not before the lady gave Luna a charm that would allow us to leave in peace. We left with heavy hearts.
And this isn't just about pollution or profits either. Oh no! This goes all the way to the top. I swear, all these companies care about is making enough just to get by.
You want me to take over for a bit?
That would be nice.
Good, here, distract Luna for me.
Wait, what?
Okay, thanks, bye! We left the forest and found the Lunar Caves. Riolu and his buddy left for Empire City while we continued on our quest with the Carbink. We spelunked into the Lunar Caves below and rescued some Carbink being attacked by various fairy-type Pokemon. Luna even got this really spunky Jigglypuff as a companion. The Carbink led us to a magically sealed door, and they managed to open it and revealed an Alolan Ninetails, which was like one of the coolest things I'd ever seen. I wanted to catch it, of course, but it was a little too dangerous. The room felt the sub-zero temperatures from this thing's attacks, and its mouth was just dripping with poison. We barely managed to pin it down to feed it some Pecha Berries to help its condition. After it calmed down, the Ninetails informed us that years ago it was poisoned by the humans that came into the Moonwalk. Also, we found out that it was protecting the shattered remains of the Diancie in this cave. So, that's one way to have a gravesite. Luna was pretty furious, but the Ninetails assured us that in reality, the situation was far more complicated than it originally appeared, and that the fairies were actually the ones who started the conflict between the Pokemon and the humans all those years ago. It begged us not to seek revenge, and we left on a pretty somber note. Shortly after this, we entered Empire City. The city was fascinating because it had a very traditional Ransei style with lots of modern elements thanks to the power plant that employed like half the town. There were also 3 great towers of religious importance, but whatever, I was way more interested in checking out the town's Pokeball shop, ran by the famous smith, Hikikomori. That's punny. We bought some Pokeballs for yours truly, and we discovered that Hiki even had the blueprints for an original Master Ball and was willing to make one for us if we got the parts together. All we would need is a purple apricorn for the shell, a shard of never melt ice for the cooling system, and a quantum processor.
Which is totally a real thing in the real world. Here's a link. Educate yourselves.
Okay? And a quantum processor for the Master Ball's computer, because Pokeballs are quantum computers. We accepted the quest and headed towards the mayor's office so Luna could complain. She's done?
Yep. And ready to talk about the problems of the town.
Excellent. Take over, please.
Gladly! So it turns out this town is a great big power plant still operating on coal. It's ruining the local wildlife, causing the citizens of town to be constantly sick, and apparently not paying people enough to have a decent living wage. They do all this despite the fact that there's a river nearby that could easily be used for clean energy, but instead is being used as a dumping ground, where the Grimers and Mucks are living happily and free, which is good for them, but not great for everyone else, is it? As a ranger, it is my duty to find a proper solution to this, but the mayor was not having any of it. He kept making excuses on how it would disrupt power or cause layoffs or whatever.
Electricity is important, Luna.
What was that? Realizing there wasn't much else we could do, we visited the tower shrine so Scarlet could pray at the Tower of Ideals. We met the Riolu from earlier, and Lobby tried to get him to join his party, but the little blue guy refused, saying he would fulfill his duty as a samurai to serve the current lord of the town. Disappointed, we left to complete this town's gym.
Ooh, I got this one. We went to the local gym next to the power plant. As it turns out, the factory owner and his son Sam just happened to be the local gym leaders here as well. Sam was actually pretty cool. He was an honorary ranger, really polite to us, and apparently fairly religious because he spent a few minutes praying at the memorial shrine before accepting our challenge. This particular gym's typing was poison and steel, which was a really tricky combo to get over. But thanks to Spirit and the Tentacool I caught in the last arc, we were able to defeat Sam's Pokemon no problem. As a reward, we were given the Conquer badge and an EXP share. Sam was so impressed, he even offered us some work in cleaning up the town by catching some of the wandering poison-type Pokemon. I was getting paid to capture more Pokemon. Like I don't do that already. As we caught the poison types, we realized pretty quickly that they were coming directly from the power plant. Luna was not happy about this and decided to investigate. What did you find, Luna?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Jade. As it turns out, the factory was hiding a dark secret. Aside from paying their workers poorly...
Actually, they were pretty well compensated. Rent in Empire City is just really expensive.
We don't know how much that was, Jade! Sure, maybe they were being compensated enough to pay their electricity bill, and maybe nothing else. They also apparently once tried to convert to green energy, but some years ago, due to an incident inside the factory, the owner's daughter, Sam's sister, was killed by some machines. However, the story appears to be a cover-up, because around that time, there was no official investigation into the factory. Sensing something fishy afoot, I sent Lavi and the others around the back to find out more about the pollution, while I went through the front door and began a health inspection.
As we entered the building, we were suddenly attacked by like a dozen weirdos that just teleported in. They were all wearing uniforms like what we saw on Executive Layla back in the fossil dig site. They kept going on about fulfilling their vision and seemed completely fanatic. Luna was actually super cool and fought back right away and took charge. Between the four of us, we managed to apprehend all the attackers and evacuated the workers. As we wrapped things up, several town samurai entered the building. Unfortunately, their armor was mostly for show, and most of the town guard were pretty ill-equipped to handle a sort of terrorist attack like this. The samurai arrested the weird vision guys while Riolo and Torchic joined us in ascending to the top floor. When we got to the top floor, we found Sam and his father Ty in the middle of the room. Nearby was Executive Layla, a ninja we didn't recognize, and a strange villain who smelled of burnt onions. She was dressed strangely, having burnt and poison damage all over her body. The strange woman's name was Sarah, and she was the leader of Team Vision. At the time, we didn't know much about them, but their mission was to eliminate everyone that they believed was a threat to the future. She said she was here to execute Ty and Sam for their crimes. Obviously, we weren't about to let that happen, and demanded to at least know why she was attacking them. She then held a trial for Sam and Ty. It was a real Kangaskhan court.
Really, Jade?
Puns are fun. Luna!
Right. Based on what we learned from the moonwalk and what limited questions we were allowed to ask, we learned the following. 30 years ago, Ty, the owner of the power plant, had 2 children, Sam and Nina. The family loved fairy Pokemon and would frequently visit the moonwalk as a family. They saw the damage that their factory was doing to the environment and were trying to clean up the waters. However, one day, Nina got separated from her family and met with a poisoned fairy type. Ty, discovering the body of his daughter, chased after the fairy, tearing through the forest with his Registeel. Nothing could stop them. Nothing until they reached the lunar caves, where the Diancie tried to calm him and protect her friend. Ty only wanted the ninetails, but the Diancie refused to move, and in the scuffle, the princess perished. Realizing what he'd done, Ty took his Registeel and left the moonwalk forever. I don't really know what to say to this.
Well, apparently Sarah didn't either. She let Sam go, but was about to execute Ty before we stepped in. The battle was intense. We had to fight the leader of Team Vision and her 2 commanders. The ninja had the ability to become a burst warrior, and Layla had a Registeel. Sarah's psychic powers were immense. We could barely hold her back. As a hunch, I just kind of threw a Pokeball at her. And it worked. At least for a moment. When Sarah popped back out, she pulled out a device that we later learned was called a time gear. She channeled its powers to release a roar of time which destroyed the factory. In that attack, both Layla and Scarlet kinda died. She took the artifact and somehow reversed time with it and brought us back to right before the battle started. And with that, Team Vision just kind of left. A lot happened after that. Ty agreed to turn his factory green, having to cut off power to several UTOPUS towns to do so. Lavi was stuck in the hospital from his injuries, because he was Lavi, and Riolu joined the party, realizing that the ninja we ran into earlier had the same aura as his deceased master. Sam thanked us personally for saving his life, and the bridge on Route 4 was rebuilt and called Princess Nina in honor of both Diancie and Ty's daughter. And that concludes the Empire City story arc. With this, you can safely skip episodes 94 through 144. If you want to support us by watching the best episodes, I recommend watching 105 for Our Time Near the Sacred Tree, 112 through 114 for Our Time with the Alolan Ninetails, 117 through 119 for when we explored Empire City, and 135 through 138 for our battle against Team Vision. Otherwise, this was a pretty emotional arc. I hope the next one isn't quite as heavy. It should be okay though. Right. If you like this series, please consider pledging to us on Patreon. It helps us pay our artists and editors. Alaina Prana, the gal who controls my adventures, would sure like to pay our mortgage. That'd be nice. Otherwise, if you want to see more of us, be sure to watch our playlist and you will definitely want to check out our crossover episodes. We'll see you next time!